So hello and welcome to the 2023 European XCE Championships from Sakarya in Turkey. We are coming to you today from a region of Turkey where we have been before. Now, the first round of the World Cup was indeed in Sakarya earlier on in May this year. Now located on the the coast of Black Sea in Turkey. It is a fantastic region for sport, and the venue we are in today has indeed this year hosted road racing, a round of the mountain bike XCE World Cup, the BMX Supercross World Cup, the BMX European Cup. It's also previously hosted the mountain bike marathon championships. There is something for everybody, and as you can see on this course today, it is a fast flying uphill start. Before we take the left into the tight corner, we run along the course and then we sweep on a tight right hand switch back before we come up and over the bridge. And this is where the riders want the position, because they want the position for this climb, and these corners on the climb often one of the most decisive parts of the course. Now we come up and over the top and through the rock garden into the drop off and on to the tarmac. The tarmac takes us through fast into and up over the bridge, down the rumble strip on the other side, and then it leaves a switchback tight hand corner into the run to the finish line. Now one lap of the course today. If you've not had or not seen XCE before, it is indeed Eliminator Racing. It starts with a time trial, and we can see the women's time trial results today. Gaia Tormena taking top spot with 1 minute 27 seconds, just 0.1 of a second behind Marion Fromberger. I think it's going to be a great competition today for that European jersey between these riders. Now 10 seconds separating the top 9 riders in the women's time trial earlier on today. It's going to take us through to 4 heats. And we can see there, Heat 1, Tormena, Becker, Schrotzenberger. Heat 2, De Vries, Closure, Beck. Heat 3, Fromberger, Civil and Kuiper. And Heat 4, Van Diest, Boissier and Hubert. It is going to be fast and furious today. Now, 2 riders qualifying from each of the heats, and those riders will indeed go through to our semi-finals later. Now you can see the riders lined up. The first heat today: Becker from Turkey, Tormena from Italy, and Schrotzenberger from France. Now, as the riders are held in the start pen for this first heat, we can see the concentration on the face. They are up, they are ready. That is a big sigh from Tormena already. She is ready to go. The 15 seconds have been marked across the board, and away go the riders. And this is a fast and furious start, and Tormena coming out from the gun really hard. She wants that first place up the hill, but Schrotzenberger is not going to give it away, and neither is Becker from Turkey. So the home nation rider all in the mix, as well as the 3 riders come out side by side, and it's Tormena who slots into first place with Becker in 2, Schrotzenberger in 3 as they come up the climb and head sweeping down into that left-hand corner. Tormena absolutely dominant. She's laying it down on the track today already. She's adamant she wants another jersey for her collection, and we've got an incident behind at the moment. So Tormena pushing on. She's up and over the bridge. She's well clear of the other 2 riders. So Tormena needing to qualify. Now 2 qualifiers from each heat going through to the semi-finals. Tormena making her way up the climb. Now, we talked about this, it's a particularly steep climb with tight corners, often causing challenges for our riders, but no problem today for Tormena. She is up and out and leading the race at the moment. Behind, we've got riders back on the bike, which is fabulous to see, but Tormena is indeed going to come through to qualify. Going to take a little look in a moment at the riders behind, but Tormena comes down over the rumble strip, and you can see that before she takes that left-hand bend into the finish straight. So Tormena is indeed going to come through to qualify for the semi-finals. Now, she's held the European Champions jersey for 4 years running, so she is indeed the reigning champion and qualified to the semi-finals to defend that jersey today. Now, it's the rider from Turkey who is back up and on the bike first. She's back up and on the bike, and she is now through into the finish line. Schwarzenberger from France coming through as well. And in fact, it's Schwarzenberger who qualifies behind Tormena for the semi-finals. So the results of heat number 1, it's Tormena in 1, Schwarzenberger in 2, and Becker in 3. An incident with Schwarzenberger and Becker, and I'm sure we're going to see that again as they went into the grass section. Tormena clear straight off the start line, and in fact, look at that, it was Schwarzenberger coming through, just trying to come alongside Becker there, and as they went into that corner, a racing incident just putting them on the floor. Now both riders back up and on the bikes, and Schwarzenberger coming through to qualify into the semi-final. So heat number 2 lined up and ready to go. Beck from Germany, De Vries from the Netherlands, and Closier from France, all lined up in the start pen, looking ready as they get the 15-second notification. Within the next 15 seconds, that whistle will go, and away will go heat number 2. So away goes heat 2, and it's Colleen Closier from France pushing in hard on that sprint, and she's got the lead out of the start pen. So Closier goes into position 1, it's De Vries in 2 and Beck in 3, and they are lined out as they come up onto the climb. Little rock garden at the top of the climb won't bother them at all, so it is Closier from De Vries, from Beck as they come up and into that first left-hand corner. They drop down the hill, come round the corner. It's still Closier from De Vries, from Beck. So Closier and De Vries 1 and 2 at the moment. It's 2 riders to qualify from this final. It is Hannah Beck. Beck, one of the younger riders in this race. It is her first real season coming through to this level. So great to see her competing at the European Championships. Great to see her qualifying here, but it is Closier and De Vries pushing on up the climb. Beck still in contention on the back wheel there as Closier and De Vries drop into the rock garden at just the top of that climb, gapping Beck now as Closier comes down first onto the tarmac, De Vries into. These, I think, are going to be the 2 riders who qualify from this heat as the 2 riders now go clear. So Closier and De Vries both clear, both strong riders. Closier and De Vries. Beck just coming through, still riding strongly. Closier comes on to the finish straight first. De Vries following close on their heels. Those are the 2 riders who are going to qualify from heat number 2. So heat number 2 going to form, but great to see the camaraderie between the riders as De Vries recognises Beck's effort. And take a look at this, because the young German rider stayed with the 2 stronger, more experienced XCE racers through this heat, and Beck stayed in contention right the way till the end there on the final obstacle coming down the rumble strip and into the home straight. But it was indeed Closier and De Vries who qualify. Hannah Beck not progressing to the semi-finals today. So heat number 3, it is Kuiper from the Netherlands, Schrevel from Estonia, and Fromberger from Germany. Now Fromberger qualifying in 2nd place in that time trial today. Extremely close to Gerda Tormena, the world champion, and in fact she's run her really close this season. They finished 1 and 2 in the World Cup standings this year, but she's not got the jump on the start. In fact, it's Cyril from Estonia, so Cyril taking the lead, and up they come on the climb right the way across the track as it's on the climb where Fromberger comes through. So Fromberger comes through, and Kuiper moves to 2nd wheel. Cyril just elbows out as we try to fight for position into that corner. And take a look at that. It is all change yet again. So Kuiper from the Netherlands goes into position 1, Fromberger in 2, several on 3, but they are absolutely lined out wheel to wheel as they come up and over the bridge and about to go onto the climb. Now, 2 riders to qualify, as we said earlier, and at the moment it is Kuiper and Fromberger in 1 and 2 as they continue to push on here. Merrily Civil right on the heels of Fromberger. So 3 riders pushing hard to qualify, 2 to qualify as we come up the climb. They're going to take that bend and drop through the rock garden into the jump. Then it is down and onto the tarmac, and there's a small gap now forming between Fromberger and Civil. So Kuiper comes around. Now this is a phenomenal ride from Elodie Kuiper from the Netherlands, because this has got to be one of her strongest performances so far throughout this season. Fantastic effort coming in here to put a qualification in place, and it's Fromberger coming through into second place. She's going to make the sprint and come through to qualify. So the 2 riders qualifying from heat number 3, Elodie Kuiper, from the Netherlands, Marion Fromberger from Germany, and it's Estonia's Merrily Civil who does not qualify from heat number 3. So a really steady start from Fromberger. She took the lead on that climb, but then Kuiper came through. Kuiper absolutely adamant she was taking that qualification today and moving through to the semi-finals at the European Championships in Sakarya in Turkey. Great to see her qualify in first position as we move on to heat number 4, the final quarter-final in this women's competition. We've got Annemoen van Dienst from the Netherlands, Madison Boissier from France, and Rochelle Hubert from the Netherlands as well. So 2 riders from the Netherlands lining up with Boissier from France, and it is Boissier who is leading this out. She's got the 2 Dutch riders on her heels, but they are coming through wide up the climb, a little like Fromberger did last time, and fighting for this first corner. So the fight is on for the corner first, and it is indeed Van Dienst who is going to make it through and round in first place. Boissier in 2, Hubert in 3, as this starts to become 2 riders making a gap here. Back to the third as they come into the tight corner. But Hubert's going up and round on the outside. Phenomenal move coming in fast, going up on the outside. She's not rewarded with a position, but she closes the gap to the 2 riders in front. 3 riders now, wheel on wheel, heading to the climb. Van Dienst, Boissier 1 and 2, Rachel Hubert in 3. So in close contention, all 3 of these riders, and it is these tight corners on this climb that often puts the gaps in, and it has done this time as well, as Marion Boissier and Van Dienst come through in 1 and 2, and the gap now growing. So 2 riders due to qualify. It's looking like it's going to be Annemoen van Dienst, Madison Boissier from France. These 2 riders now just need to make it up and through, up and over the final obstacle. Now, obstacles on these XCE courses can indeed be man-made or natural features, and we've got both of those on this course in Sakarya in Turkey today. It is a 1-lap course, and these 2 riders looking very happy to qualify today. So Annemoen van Dienst from the Netherlands and Madison Boissier from France, both progressing to the semi-final. Rochelle Hubert from the Netherlands not making it through this time. Now, whilst it was Boissier who came hard out of the start pen, Van Dienst then pushed through. It was indeed, in the end, an easy qualification for those 2 riders. They both sat up on that finish straight. Great to see the friendships over the line. Absolutely brilliant to see. So the results in front of you, the qualifications for the semi-finals: Tolmena, Schwarzenberg, Clausure, De Vries, Van Dienst, Boissier, Kuiper and Fromberger, the riders progressing to the women's semi-finals. And we are up and we are away with the men. This is the first heat of our men's quarterfinals. This is Schwarzenberger, Nemec, Girili and Akpinar. They are up and fast and through and out. It's Nemec riding and leading this out. Now, the shock news from the time trial qualifications was Klemenchik, the Slovenian rider, the current 2022 European champion, not qualifying and making it through to the quarterfinals from the time trial, so going out early. Now, Nemček, the Czech rider, pushing on strongly, and we've got a small issue there from the rider from France. That Schwarzenberger just having an issue, and we said this climb was a really challenging part of the course, and it's Attila Güreli from Hungary who's having a problem there. So the riders pushing in, pushing on, as we see them coming fast and furious round the bend. 3 riders, and is it going to be the French rider who misses out here? Is the rider going to miss out? But are we going to see a really big push here? We are indeed. We're going to see 3 riders coming into the sprint because only 2 can qualify. Are we going to see Quentin Schwarzenberger, the French rider, go out? Yes, we are. We're going to see Simon Nemec go through. We're going to see the Hungarian rider Attila Güreli go through. We are going to see Schwarzenberger and the Turkish rider Akpınar not qualify for the final. So fast and furious out of the start pen, and it was indeed the climb that caused the challenge. Schwarzenberger not making the qualification today. So all the action in heat number 1 in the men's quarterfinals. This is heat number 2. Theo Hauser from Austria, Reicher from Germany, Yuka from Turkey, and Stiebel from France, all ready to go. So away they go. This is heat number 2 in the men's quarterfinals, and it is fast and furious out the pen. Theo Hauser wanting that line, but the push is really coming. Eddie Stiebel wanting to go through from France. He's just seen his compatriot not make the qualification, and he really doesn't want that to happen. But it is indeed the German rider Reicher coming through into second position as they come round that left-hand bend. They're coming up for the tight right-hand corner, and it is Hauser in 1, Reicher in 2. As we see some movement in the changing of positions at the back of the group as the Turkish rider Yuka comes through. Stiebel now being pushed back into 4th place, and are we going to see another one of the French riders not qualify as they come up and on to the climb? They're coming tightly packed through the corners. They're going to take the left-hand turn onto the rock garden and down over the jump, but it is indeed Hauser in 1, Reicher in 2. It is Yuka and Stiebel who are not in qualification positions at the moment as Hauser pushes on hard. One more obstacle between them and the finish line. Hauser comes up and off, so does Reicher. We've got Yuka and Stiebel fighting it out at the moment, but I don't think they're going to make the qualification. I think we're going to see Hauser and Reicher, the 1, 2. They are indeed. Hauser and Reicher qualify. There's a sprint for 3rd place, but the first 2 only taking the qualification. So yet again, another action-packed men's heat, because we had a real race on there right the way down to the line, positions changing, but it was Hauser and Reicher who come out top of heat number 2. So heat number 3, we have Perrin Gagné from France, the current world champion, Tarasov from Estonia, Molnar from Romania, and Messi from Estonia as well. This is going to be another really interesting heat. And away they go on heat number 3. This is for the qualification for the semi-final, and these 4 are right across the road. They are coming to the climb thick and fast, and it's going to be Perrin Gagné, I think, who really pulls it through there, but it's not. It's actually Tarasov who comes into P1, Perrin Gagné in 2. It is Molnar in 3 and Messi in 4, but they are pushing and pushing hard. Tarasov really pushing on the front. He wants to come round that corner first. Perrin Gagné second wheel, but it is packed tight behind as these riders absolutely fighting up and over the bridge. They know this is the important part of the course. This is the part where it counts. This is the part where the gaps go. This is not where you want to lose contention. They are absolutely wanting this qualification. So Tarasov leading into the rock garden, Perrin Gagne into the gap has opened, and it is that part of the course that opens the gap. So Perrin Gagne just coming round the outside of Tarasov. Perrin Gagne going into that final obstacle first, and Ryder coming up really fast, and that's Molnar. Molnar coming in, and he's come up from third place and gone straight over the top of 1 and 2. Molnar, perfect timing for the qualification, comes up over Tarasov, over Perrin Gagne, takes the first position in that, and the first qualification spot Perrin Gagne goes through into. And it's Tarasov and Messi, both the riders from Estonia, who miss out. Now, Tarasov was absolutely leading that out right the way from the first corner, and it was Molnar who came through in the final stages onto that final obstacle and down that rumble strip into the finish straight that took that position off. So one more heat in the men's quarter-finals. We have Klausmann from Germany, Erdogan from Turkey, Serres from France, and Gegenheimer from Germany as well. So 2 German riders pushing on the start here, and it is indeed Serres, the French rider, who's pushing hard, but it's the Turkish rider Erdogan who's pushing and leading them into the climb as they come up side by side behind him. So the riders arm in arm, bike by bike, wheel by wheel, as it is indeed Serres who drops first into the descent and pushes onto the right-hand bend. He wants the line into this. The 2 German riders are there with the Turkish rider as well, coming round the outside, going into P3. So we have a battle on here for the 2 qualification places. So Lorenzo Serres pushes on, first place on the climb, pushes on hard. It's Gegenheimer who's got the second wheel. The local Turkish rider Erdogan in 3. Klausmann is the rider who's going to miss out here. So Klausmann and Erdogan currently in 3 and 4, but we saw what happened in the final obstacle when Molnar came over the top in the last heat. Nothing can be excluded. No one can be excluded. As Serres comes down, Gegenheimer comes down, and Erdogan is in contention here as they sweep round into the finishing straight, but surely Serres and Gegenheimer are going to be the 2 to qualify. Yes, they are, but it's close. Erdogan and Klausmann both pushing hard for qualification, but not going through to the semi-finals this time. That was an absolutely elbows out heat. The final heat in the quarterfinals for the men. Serres and Gegenheimer, the 2 riders coming through to take the qualification place in the European Championships. So qualifying for the semi-finals in the 2023 European Championships. This is the Eliminator. MTB is Nemec, Gerali, Hauser, Riker, Serres, Gegenheimer, Molnar, and the world champion Perrin Gagne. So the men's quarterfinals over, we move on to the women's semi-finals. The first heat now, Tormena, De Vries, Closure and Schrotzenberger. They are lined up, they are away, and it is all on out of the pen. Tormena pushing on, but it's going to be Closure, I think, who's going to be side by side. It is indeed Colleen Closure. Absolutely wants to nail this, and coming around the outside is Didi De Vries. Didi De Vries goes into P1, Tormena on her heels. Then Closure sits in, and she's just a little bit off the pace with Schrotzenberger on P4 now. Valentine Schrotzenberger, she is indeed a young French rider from Normandy. She's just 16 years of age. This is her first season, doing absolutely brilliantly to make the semi-finals at the European Championships. Now it is 2 qualifiers from here who go through to the main final. At the moment it's Tormena in 1, De Vries in 2. This is going to form at the moment. Closure is the rider moving strongly up the climb, but Tormena and De Vries are already on the descent. They are already on to the tarmac. Colleen Closure pushing on. Valentine Schrotzenberger, the rider, in 4th place. So Tormena and De Vries. De Vries checking over her shoulder, seeing what gap she's got, seeing how clear she is, and whether she can just save a small amount of energy now for that final. But she's not clear. Closure is still with them. The gap, I think, is going to be big enough, and it is indeed, as Tormena and De Vries come over the line. 1, 2. They will progress to the main final. Closure and Schrotzenberger will move through to the small final to settle places 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th today. What a fantastic first semi-final in our women's competition. It went to the form books with Tormena and De Vries crossing over the line, but Colleen Closure, she pushed hard from the gun out of that start pen, really trying to ensure she was in the middle of that race. Now, semi-final number 2, we have Kuiper from the Netherlands, Van Dienst from the Netherlands, Boissier from France, and Fromberger from Germany. This is a strong, strong semi-final. Away they go. And immediately it is indeed Madison Boissier pushing hard to come to the front. She is being side by side with Van Dienst at the moment. Fromberger is there as well. It's Elodie Kuiper who pushed really hard in the quarter-finals, the rider at the back here, but Van Dienst goes into the corner first. The German rider Fromberger in 2. It's Boissier from France in 3. These 3 riders pushing on as Boissier comes up onto the inside of Fromberger and takes P2 from her on that corner. So Van Dienst in 1 over the bridge. Fromberger comes back over the bridge. She's not letting Boissier have it. Fromberger comes back. She moves back into P2 position. So Van Dienst, Fromberger, Boissier continuing to fight this out, and Fromberger pushing on the climb. She's just distance. We always say that climb here in Sakarya in Turkey really causes challenges for the riders. You've got to nail the position going in, and that's what Fromberger did. She wanted P2 going into that climb. She moved on up over the bridge and she got it because Van Dienst is the rider who is in first. Fromberger in 2, Boissier now distanced in 3, Kuiper in 4 from the Netherlands, and it's going to be Fromberger and Van Dienst, the 2 riders who are going to qualify from this semi-final for the big final today. Boissier and Kuiper will qualify for the small final. So Fromberger really pleased with the qualification there. Huge smiles on her face, but it was an absolutely tight competition from the go because Boissier was not giving in to Fromberger for that second position. She pushed on up, but it was indeed Fromberger who got that in the end. Perfect timing just before the climb, and that's what secured the qualification. So we move very quickly into the men's semi-final, and the first semi-final, Riker from Germany, Hauser from Austria, Gereli from Hungary, Nemec from the Czech Republic. So away they go, already pushing on. They want the lead on this start straight onto the climb. They are side by side, as it is indeed Nemec who comes to the front now. He did this in his quarterfinal as well. He took the lead, but Hauser is not having it. Hauser wants the lead going into the corner. Comes up on the inside of Nemec and pushes to take the lead through the corner. Now we've got a tight fight going on here because Riker does not want Nemec to have that second position. And indeed, he comes up on the inside and comes through. So Nemec now from first to second to third place. So it is indeed Hauser in 1, Riker in 2, Nemec in 3, and the Hungarian rider Attila Gereli in 4 as they move on up onto the climb. So Hauser leading up on the climb. Riker still on P2. A small gap now appearing back to Simon Nemec as they push on down and hit the tarmac. So Hauser clear in 1. Riker pushing on into the two riders now with a long, clear run in towards the finish. Both checking over the shoulder, both wanting to conserve as much energy as possible for the final. It's Simon Nemjek who comes over the obstacles down the rumble strip who will take third place. But qualification for the big final goes to Hauser and Riker. Nemec and Gerely will qualify for the small final later to decide 5th through to 8th position. So the start so important in XCE, and the riders were fighting for the front position in this heat, in this semi-final, absolutely pushing it on. Riker and Hauser, the two riders qualifying for the big final. Nemec and Gerely both for the small final, as we see the next semi-final in this men's race lining up in front of us. It's Molnar from Romania, Gegenheimer from Germany, Serres from France, and Perrin Gagné, the world champion, also from France in this semi-final. Now this semi-final absolutely loaded with talent. Everybody wanting that front spot, and it's Perrin Gagné, the current world champion, who's pushing on and wanting it first. So Perrin Gagné goes into one, but I can see fighting here going on between Molnar and Gegenheimer for second spot, and it's Molnar who goes through now. Molnar came from third through to first in his qualification in the very final stages of the lap, but he's gone into position 2 behind Perrin Gagné from France. So Perrin Gagné leading this out. He will want the qualification, he will want to make the big final, not the small final. Molnar absolutely sticking to his will, but Gegenheimer is so tight, he's almost burping the back wheel of Molnar as they go up the climb. They're going to take the turn. Perrin Gagné is going to come through the rock garden, but Gegenheimer is coming really fast and close, and so is Serres. This is not done by a long shot. So Perrin Gagné in 1, Molnar in 2. Gegenheimer and Serres pushing on really hard. In fact, Serres is coming seriously fast from behind. Lorenzo Serres may be P4, but he's gone up alongside Gegenheimer as they come around the final corner. Perrin Gagné in 1, Molnar in 2, and then it's Gegenheimer and Serres side by side, but no, it is going to be the main final for Molnar and Perrin Gagné. It's going to be a small final for Gegenheimer and Serres. Wow. Now, Gegenheimer not making the final. He finished second in the World Cup standings this year to Perrin Gagné. Serres finishing in third in that overall World Cup standings too. Neither of them making the big final today in the European XCE Championships. So shock results there, but fantastic riding from Eddie Molnar from Romania, making it through to the big final. So Riker, Hauser, Molnar and Perrin Gagné, the 4 riders going through to the big final. For the women now, we have the small final coming up first. Now, the small final in the women's race. They've just been given 15 seconds to go. And as we can see, it is Kuiper, Boissier, Clousier and Schrotzenberg. 3 French women in this small final. 1 rider from the Netherlands, and that's Elodie Kuiper. So the French riders pushing on and pushing on hard. It's Colleen Clousier, who just missed out on the qualification for the big final leading up the climb. She has got to be the rider on form today. Boissier in 2. She following out and moving in as Kuiper challenging and coming through from Schrotzenberger into third place. She's coming up on the outside of the French rider in front. She's coming up on the outside of Boissier. Is it going to be 2 French riders through and into this corner first? Absolutely critical positioning at the moment. So it's Clousier from France in 1, Boissier from France in 2. Kuiper from the Netherlands in 3, as we see a little bit of a stall on the top of that bridge from Boissier. Schrotzenberger in 4, and Kuiper is the rider challenging with Boissier at the moment, but Clousier going clear. So Colleen Closure from France pushes clear. Kuiper from the Netherlands is close on the wheel of Boissier, and Boissier there just causing challenges and issues because Kuiper so close to the back wheel has had to put the foot down on the climb, causing her to lose time. So Colleen Closure comes through in 1. Madison Boissier is in 2, and then Schwarzenberger and Kuiper are the next 2 riders to come down off of the descent, but it is indeed Closure who comes up and over down onto the rumble strips first. Boissier in 2, Kuiper comes through in 3. Is she going to be able to challenge for second place? I don't think so. I think we are going to see a French 5th place, a French 6th place, Kuiper coming through for 7th, and Schwarzenberger finishing in 8th. So Colleen Closure wins the small final to take 5th place overall. Madison Boissier comes through in 2nd. She will take 6th place overall. Kuiper comes through in 3rd, 7th, and Schwarzenberger comes through in 4th, taking 8th place overall. And what a final that was. That was all about that climb, and we've said time and time again in Sakarya how important positioning is early in this race, into that 2 corners after the start straight, taking you into position on the climb. Now this is the men's small final coming up, 15 seconds to go. Nemec from the Czech Republic, Gerli from Hungary, Serres from France, and Gegenheimer from Germany. Away they go, and it is indeed Gerli who's pushing on hard with Serres. They are side by side coming into this climb. I think it's Gerli who's going to hit the climb first. Will he come off the climb in first as well? I think it may well be Lorenzo Serres who comes into P1, into that first corner, and he does indeed slots into first place. So Serres taking first left-hand bend in 1. Gerli into Nemec in 3, Gegenheimer in 4. So Serres coming through. It is still as we said, so Serres, Gerli, Nemec and Gegenheimer at the back of this race at the moment as Lorenzo Serres pushes on for France on the climb. Atali Gerli is and they are off and running, and that's a mistake from Serres. So Serres made the mistake there. They're off and running, and that's caused some changes through the field, and Gegenheimer has come up from 4th place to 3rd because he stayed on his bike. And he rode around the incident. He is now absolutely positioned for a challenge to 1 and 2. So as Serres and Gerli go into the final obstacle, up comes Gegenheimer. Gegenheimer comes onto the back of the leading 2 as they come down on the rumble strip. Is he going to take it wide on the corner and challenge for the run into the sprint? He takes it wide, he moves to sprint, but the 2 riders I think are just going to be clear. So Serres in 1, Gerli into Gegenheimer, making the benefit of the problems on the climb to come through in 3, and Nemec, who took it out, finishes in 4. So we can just see that challenge again, and that was a problem with indeed Lorenzo Serres at the front, and Gegenheimer made the most of that, coming from 4th into 3rd, and that took him near enough into contention and moved him through the field, but it was Serres who takes that from Gerli, from Gegenheimer, from Nemec. Now we move on to the big final. This is the women's final. They've got 15 seconds till the start. Fromberger from Germany, Van Dienst from the Netherlands, Tormena from Italy, De Vries from the Netherlands. This is the top 4 from the World Cup overall standings this year. This is the race we expected. This is the final, and it is Marion Fromberger from Germany who takes it out. She wants that lead. So Fromberger in 1, Tormena in 2. The look of concentration as Tormena comes underneath Fromberger Fromberger on the first corner. She goes round Fromberger on the first corner. She wants the line into the second corner now. Tormainer had issues in the final here back in May. She finished 4th in the big final, and it was indeed Fromberger who took it. And it was an overtaking manoeuvre that caused the challenge, but Tormainer riding clear on the climb. Fromberger coming back onto her wheel. So Tormainer in 1, Fromberger right on her wheel. As we see the 2 Dutch riders now move through, Van Dienst and De Vries, but the gap is there. It's Tormainer in 1, Fromberger in 2, Van Dienst and De Vries in 3 and 4. Tormainer comes on. Fromberger's digging deep because she's going to try and continue to move. This is for the European Championships. The 2 riders coming up to the last. They come up the bridge, they drop down, they're going to drop down the rumble strip and sweep into the final corner. Tormainer's going to go in first. Fromberger is going to go in wide. It's going to come down to a sprint, but Tormainer is going to take this today from Marion Fromberger. So Tormainer takes it from Fromberger. There's a sprint behind for 3rd place as well between the 2 Dutch riders, Van Dienst and De Vries. That was absolutely fantastic racing, absolutely laying it all out on the track. Tormainer and Fromberger took that to the wire. We knew they were going to. That was for the 2023 European Championships. So Tormainer coming through in 1, Fromberger coming through in 2. Van Dienst taking 3rd place in a sprint from De Vries. It went to the World Cup overall standings form book today, and it still gave us some phenomenal racing. So the women's final complete. This is the men's big final. They've just been given 15 seconds to go. It's Riker from Germany, Hauser from Austria, Molnar from Romania, and Perrin Gagné from France. So the whistle is gone and they are away, and it is absolutely pushing on this start straight. They are side by side, and it is indeed Riker who's getting caught out. So we've got problems on. We've got a broken chain for Hauser. Hauser's got a broken chain on the start straight and drops back off the race. That leaves us 3 riders in contention, and it's Molnar going in 1, Perrin Gagné going in 2. Riker going through in 3 as it's Molnar, the rider who was surprised us to come through from 3rd to 1st in the heats earlier on today. So Molnar in 1, Perrin Gagné in 2. They're coming up and over the bridge here. Riker in 3, Hauser breaking the chain on the start straight. The volume of power going through those pedals, just too much for the bike as Molnar goes up onto this climb. Now small gap back to Perrin Gagné, but they make it up that climb cleanly. No problems for them today. All 3 of these riders down through the rock garden, over the jump, onto the tarmac. Perrin Gagné pushing on now. Molnar absolutely got the bit between his teeth. They are looking under their arms to see where Riker is. Riker is behind them. This is Molnar and Perrin Gagné. Riker coming up and down the rumble strip, taking it wide on the grass to come in and sweep in and try and carry as much momentum into the sprint as possible as Molnar comes through ahead of the current world champion Perrin Gagné to take the European Championships today. So Molnar comes through ahead of Perrin Gagné and Riker. That's the 1, 2, 3 today in Sakarya at the XCE European Championships, as we see Theo Hauser wanting to make it to the finish line today, running with his bike. He's got no chain on the bike, as you can see, completely broken chain. That broke on the start line today, but he will want to finish the race. So Hauser getting back on the bike for the descent. A little bit of styling it up over the jump as we see him move onto the tarmac. The chain there just dragging in the distance. He's going to come down and go through to complete the final today. But Molnar, the rider, coming through to take the win today. Eddie Karoli Molnar from Romania will be the European champion as we see Theo Hauser just ensuring the bike makes it to the finish line. Perrin Gagné in 2, Riker in 3. Molnar cannot contain the pleasure that he takes from winning that race and from winning the European Championships today. So while Theo Hauser finishes his race, Eddie Caroline Molnar absolutely celebrating his win today. So it was indeed that absolutely eyeballs out start that caused the problem for Hauser. He was side by side with Perrin Gagné, but did not indeed make it. And Molnar in the end, the rider taking the win in the race. Perrin Gagné, the world champion, not able to make the pass, not able to catch him. So the new European champion from Romania, Eddie Caroline Molnar. Absolutely fantastic racing today from both our men and our women as we watch Molnar, the new men's European champion, celebrate. Sad pictures of Theo Hauser, who was riding so strongly today, coming in and across the line, getting that bike over the line for a finishing position. But no one can take anything away from Eddie Caroline Molnar from Romania, taking the win today in the men's race, alongside Tormena taking the win in the women's. So there is your confirmed result. Eddie Caroline Molnar from Romania taking the win in the MTB Eliminator European Championships for 2023 here in Sakarya, from Titouan Perrin Gagné from France and Niels Obed Riker from Germany. So celebratory scenes we can see here in Sakarya on the course today. Brilliant racing from both our men and our women, and we will indeed be moving to our flower ceremonies shortly. So look at the emotion. This means so much to these riders. It is fantastic to see. Great racing conditions here in Sakarya, 24 degrees and overcast today. It was absolutely brilliant. We have one big race left, and that is the World Championships. It's on the 12th of November, coming to you from Palangkaraya in Indonesia. The riders will indeed be looking forward to that. We will be seeing not just the riders we've seen today racing in the European Championships, but others joining them as well, as we can see Gaia Tormena down now waiting for interview.
Gaia Tormena, yet another European champion title. This must have felt amazing. Tell us how it went.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, 5 years in a row, it's incredible. I could never imagine something like this back in 2019. And today was a very hard race, as always. Sakarya is very, very hard with steep climbs. And I'm quite angry about my start, about my first sprint, because, yeah, I knew that Marion was on the left, on the right, but then I don't know why I thought, oh, it's Didi. And so I didn't start my sprint earlier. So I had to keep the pace of Marion and stay on the wheel until the first corner, where I found a room to pass. And so, yeah, I'm happy about how I managed the race mentally.
With one race remaining, UCI World Championships in Palangkaraya, I suppose this is yet another goal for you.
Definitely. Even if the World Championship, same as the European Championship, being a one-day race, is always unpredictable. So I'm already happy about my season, and I will give my best in Palangkaraya.
Complimenti, all the best for Palangkaraya.
Well, great to hear from Gaia Tormena, taking the win today in the European XCE Championships. And as you said, this is her 5th European title in a row. Is she going to make it her 4th world title in a row later in November today? Well, first there is the celebrations around the European Championships to take place, and we will see the flower ceremony. In fact, you can see the riders now. So in 3rd place, Anmoen van Dienst from the Netherlands. In 2nd place, Marion Fromberger, who took Tormena to the line in that race. Gaia Tormena taking number 1 on the podium, and she'll take that European title for the 5th time in a row. So the women enjoying the celebrations for the top 3 in the European Mountain Bike Eliminator European Championships for 2023. We will shortly be going into the men's flower ceremony. Hopefully we are going to hear from the winner of the men's race before then. But absolutely great racing and surprise racing. In fact, indeed.
Eddie, what an amazing ride. This must have been your best ever career win.
Yeah, I think I can't believe it's incredible to be to European title in Romania. Vlad Dascălu in the top of the podium on the cross country, and now me on top of the podium on the Eliminator. It's incredible.
Tell us how the race went to final.
I don't know. It was crazy because from the first heat, I can't believe it. Whoa! I win front of Tito on the first heat, and the second heat the same thing. I win, and the third heat it was incredible. Here it was every heat it was a very long sprint actually to the start, and when Theo broke the chain, I know it. I win.
You must be very proud to be wearing the UCI European Champion jersey. You have 1 goal remaining. This is the World Championships in 2 weeks' time. What are your thoughts?
I hope the best. I hope the best.
Okay, thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you too.
Well, it is going to be really interesting to see how he does in the World Championships later in November. But absolutely brilliant racing and perfect timing, both for his attacks and his form to take the European Championships today. He's right, mountain biking in Romania has never been better. Vlad Dascălu, Eddie Karoli Molnar, and there they are lined up, ready for the flower ceremony. So today, in 3rd place from Germany, Niels Obed-Reicher. From France in 2nd, current world champion Titouan Perrin-Gagné. And in 1st place today, and the new European champion, Eddie Karoli Molnar. Well, some great racing today, and great to see our top 3 in the women's race and our top 3 in the men's race there receiving their medals in the ceremony as we take a look back at the highlights of the 2023 Mountain Bike Eliminator European Championships from Sakarya in Turkey. So great highlights from the European Mountain Bike Eliminator Championships here from Sakarya in Turkey today. Two fantastic new European champions. We will see you next on November the 12th when we'll be bringing you the XCE World Championships for 2023 from Palangkaraya in Indonesia. It's shaping up to be a phenomenal World Championships. Until then, thank you for watching. Goodbye.